Dan Illman, Mike Beer, creeping closer to the Grade 1 Haskell on Saturday. We're already here at Monmouth Park, and race number 8 on the card is the Grade 3 $400,000 Monmouth Cup. We're going 1 1/8 for 3-year-olds and up. Let's take a look at this field, and the key question in this race is which Proxy is going to show up?
I guess that is the real question. That it's certainly significant class relief for this horse. Personally, Proxy is not my idea of a horse that you would ever see listed at 3 to 5 on the morning line for a race, but I guess against this field, he's supposed to be a short price.
Now, Proxy last year in the Clark got right up close to the pace and was able to win, and since then has adopted late-running tactics. And I wonder, as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, if Joel Rosario is going to be a little bit more aggressive, because there doesn't appear to be a ton of speed at all. The 7 Wayland Springs stalked and pounced last time out in his return to two-turn racing, and the other speeds might be a bit overmatched.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. At least he has, as far as Proxy is concerned, at least he has that Clark. So you know that if they have to go forward with him, he can do that and still run a representative race. You're right, he's been closing since then, but he's been doing it in some much, much tougher races. He didn't run well last time. His trainers found a very good spot for him here.
Perhaps if you're looking for the pace, look no further than the Rail Runner, Anti-Gravity. After all, he set the pace in this race last year and finished 4th at a big price behind Highly Motivated. He hasn't been on the lead since. He was the beaten favorite last time out. He seems to appreciate this class might not be to his top liking.
Yeah, that's the question with him here. I mean, when you start going through his PPs in this race last year, the Grade 3 attempt where they put him on the lead and he lasted for 4th, that race notwithstanding, his overall form just really doesn't class up with these horses. He's been racing very cheaply recently.
Forewarned, the number 2, is just a cool story. An Ohio-bred 8-year-old. He's earned over $1 million in his career, and Uriah St. Louis is going to wheel him back on 2 weeks' notice after a race in where she had no chance. It was a 3-horse field, the Battery Park. They walked up front, and Forewarned showed a lot of guts just to get up for second over the pace setter.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get from this horse. It's not surprising at all that he ran another good race last time with no setup, because that's the kind of horse he is. You know what you're going to get. He's going to show up. He's going to run every time. If you can catch a little bit of pace in front of him to run at, he will be there at the end, and he's going to be a price in this race.
Talked to Uriah after the Battery Park. He was beaming, and he said it was the best $40,000 he ever spent. The number 3 is Calibrate. This one makes his second start for Jamie Ness, and he made his first effort for the Ness barn. Congratulations on 4,000 wins to Jamie. In the Grade 2 Brooklyn last time, at a race where he was wired by Next, and this horse seemed to be in good position on the backstretch, and then it looked like he was outrun a little bit. Entering the second turn, he dropped down inside very wisely by Ruben Severa, got to the outside, was running on at the end.
He ran very well last time to pick up a nice little check there in the Grade 2 Brooklyn. He's been, I guess you could say, a little bit of an in and outer, Dan, but 2 of his last 3 races, I know they were both 1.5 miles. 2 of his last 3, though, are pretty good.
This was a last-minute change for Ness. I talked to him earlier this week. He said the original plan, let's go to Saratoga, let's try Next again, going 1 3/4 miles in the Birdstone. The racing office called, said this race is coming up light. Here's Calibrate. The 4 is Higher Quality, who could be one of the speeds in this race. Here's his most recent start. He gets beat ahead. It's a claiming race at Belmont. The claim was voided by the state vet. He's got a lot of questions to answer.
I mean, they're going to step up and take a shot here. These connections don't mind doing that in races, especially ones that pull short fields. So they're going to take a shot here. Maybe they can pick up a nice little check here and get a placing for this horse. He's won 4 times in his career. 3 of those wins either for Chad Brown or Linda Rice.
Third place finisher did come back to win his next race with a 78 buyer, albeit against $12,500 claimers. Fowler Blue is up next, the number 5. And this horse scored in an off-the-turf race, going 1 3/8 at Ellis Park on a muddy track. Got right up close to the pace. It was a nice ride by Bejarano.
Yeah, it was, especially for a horse who's really hasn't been showing any speed at all in his prior races. They got up close last time. It was a great spot for him. He did what he was supposed to do and got the job done there. This is obviously way tougher.
Proxy put cheek pieces on in the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap and made Michael Stidham look like a genius because he came from off the pace that day and he beat a decent field that included Last Samurai and Stiletto Boy and some others. In the Foster, I talked to Stidham earlier this week. He said the track at Ellis has been playing speed favoring all meet. They knew they were up against it from the start. And then Proxy steadied going into the first turn, and that might have cost him all chance. But he didn't run after that.
Yeah, that's the problem with him. He just didn't really fire. That was also a pretty fast race. So there's enough there are enough ways to excuse that performance, Dan. His prior form from earlier this year is obviously really, really good. He's a prior Grade 1 winner. And again, more than anything else, Stidham, he's found a great spot for him here.
Here's an up-and-comer, the number 7 Wayland Springs, an Arkansas bred, a multiple stakes winner coming off a win in his Monmouth debut, going 2 turns in a third-level allowance, sat just off the pace, rallied to score over anti-gravity. Maybe they'll get aggressive with this horse coming out of the gate.
They probably should. This would be a good spot for them to just come out of there running, try to make the lead and just see what happens. He ran really, really well last time, and his connections are going to step him up here and do a tougher spot right away.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Monmouth Cup. Mike, where are you going?
I mean, I just found it really hard to get interested in anybody else in this race, Dan, so I just settled for the 3 to 5 favorite. Not that I'm going to be betting him.
He is way the horse to beat. I'm going to take a chance with Calibrate in the Monmouth Cup. Good luck.